Music, movies, and TV have always been freaked out. What boomers, Gen Xers, and older millennials are complaining about truly is the easier access to all of these things, whereas in the past, there were one or two firewalls in the way that you had to jump over before you could get to any of these materials. Whether you think it's a conspiracy to distract the masses, simply artistic expression, music and film has always been freaked out. Before Meg, Cardi, Nicki, and the City Girls, it was Luke, Trick Daddy, Trina, Little Kim, Foxy Brown, LaChat, Gangsta Boo, the rest of Hypnotized Minds, Remy Ma, Diamond, Princess, Yin Yang Twins, Nelly, Little John. The list goes on. All of them were nasty. In the past, if you were a kid trying to get the parental advisory or explicit version of a song, you had to have a parent or older sibling who had the tape or a CD and was cool with you listening to it. Maybe a friend who had the CD or a tape and his parents didn't care that they were listening to it, and you got to experience the explicit lyrics. Before they had it though, they had to go to the store and get it. The difference now is that there are no guardrails. You can get on YouTube or whatever streaming service that you use and hear the explicit version of a song. You can watch the explicit version of a music video on your phone, whereas in the past, you had to have cable and stay up till about 3 a.m. to watch BET Uncut. The Raw has always been present. There was just more work, more hoops that you had to jump through in the past. Now, when getting into actual adult films, Twitter is the red light district. You can be liking videos of dogs, cars, and tennis shoes all day, but if you keep scrolling, you gonna see some yams. It don't matter. You could be on the For You tab, the Following tab, the whatever tab, you gonna see it. Everyone is freaked out. In addition to that, you have an infinite library of free adult films in your pockets. Pre-social media, you had to have cable and you had to be able to stay up to see a documentary about women of the night on HBO. Someone in your house, your father, your brother, your uncle, had to have adult movies in tape or DVD form or magazines, and you had to sneak them. Before these adult films even got to your house, somebody had to go to the adult film store in person. There's no incognito tab for that. You are in the adult film store looking freaked out. Everybody can see you going in and out. There's work and possible embarrassment involved. Today is just your phone. I'm stressing the point that these things have always been around. They've always been present, but today you're getting them within seconds versus the past where you had to get up and go out and get them. Even if we exclude some of the hardcore stuff that we may see on social media sites and just focus on the softer stuff that you may see at any time, in the early 2000s, you had to go buy King XXL Don Diva magazine to see that. There was risk and effort involved. You had to be seen buying this stuff. Again, it's always been there, but there was more effort to get it. Let's not be hypocritical here. If you think access is one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, then the League of Extraordinary Freaks who never get mentioned in this discourse are anime writers. Anime writers always seem to dip, dive, dodge, and duck this conversation. One can't call my brothers and sisters of 3-6 Mafia and Hypnotized Minds two-way freaks and not acknowledge the actions of these folks. It's time to pay some bills. Lampro MD is a black woman-owned IT networking company located right here in Baltimore, Maryland. Its service areas includes the full DMV, Southern Pennsylvania, and Delaware. Lampro boasts over 25 years of experience in the IT field. Services include fiber optic cable installation, structured network cabling for voice and data, network router, switch, firewall, wireless installs, DMARC extensions, point of sales, network commissions, network moves, network cameras, and more. Anime writers are some of the freakiest people on this planet, and the OG Ghost in the Shell, which is genius by the way and has inspired so much media after its release. The protagonist named the Major is what is called a cybernetic human. She's an awesome action character who can literally do it all. Now, the tech inside of her body allows her to turn invisible. However, she can only become invisible when she's naked. Explain that to me. She literally has to get down to her birthday suit to become invisible. Friends, the writers are making this stuff up. They could have wrote that any way that they wanted to. That was a choice. They could have said that she had an invisibility cloak. They could have wrote that she had a mask that she put on, which then made the rest of her body invisible. No, no, and no. They wrote that she had to get naked in order to be invisible. One of my favorite characters ever, Gray Fox from the Metal Gear Solid series, is also a cyborg, and the tech in his body just allows him to turn invisible. He don't need to get naked. Ninja Scroll, another classic anime film, is one of the freakiest ever. Kagero, the main woman ninja, is highly stealthy and cunning. Guess what her power is? Poison via Pound Town. She poisons her enemies via Pound Town. And again, the writers had unlimited autonomy here. Nobody told them that had to be the process. That's what they chose. Let's not stop there. One of the villains in this movie, one of the 7 devils of Kamon, is basically a human vessel for an army of snakes. Guess how she has to deploy these snakes? She has to get naked. That is a writer's choice. They could have made it so that she shot the snakes out of her hand like Scorpion shoots the harpoon out of his. They said no. Naked. Anime writers are the freakiest of the freaks.